This week we're going to be working on our woodshed again. This building we use for milling, drying lumber. It stores all of our firewood for the winter, and then also it has the freezer room for all our frozen goods. As we're coming into winter, it's getting a lot darker out. In our area of Alaska, we get down to about 4.5 to 5 hours of daylight at the shortest days of the year. And to be able to keep working in this building, we need to get some lights in here. We'll get some power in here. So we're going to go and wire this whole building up so it's all ready for this winter. I can then get some milling done in the middle of the night, and I can also come out to the woodshed, be able to pull out wood without headlamps, and I can have a light in the freezer room, dig through the freezers, pull out whatever we want for supper that night, and so on. So it'll be extremely handy to have this done. On top of the wiring of the woodshed, we're going to tackle getting the cables that go to the woodshed from the house and vice versa buried and underground. Currently we have 2 solar panel wires coming from the solar panels on the woodshed that go to the house. Then we have a power wire coming back that powers our freezers, and it will power everything else in the building. The plan is to also move the generator from right next to the house into the freezer room. We have enough room just for one to be operating, so we'll put it in there, and we're going to have the wires trenched with the rest of the wires going to the house to the inverter. So then the generator will be a little further from the house and it won't be as loud while we're there. So all our wires coming from the house are going to come right into the freezer room to start. We're just going to kind of daisy chain everything together throughout this building. I'll have a breaker inside for the building. If we're trying to have multiple tools running out here, we'll just have to make sure we're limiting what we're having on the outlets. So I'm going to start with putting a light switch outlet combo here. That's where our main wire will come in, and then from there I'll go out and daisy chain to all the other rooms. To start, we have a box of just random salvage and extra electrical stuff that we'll pull from. And then we went through this earlier and went to town and got the extra parts that we may need.
So we put in all of the boxes. We've got our light switch with an outlet right here at the doorway, an outlet right there for one freezer, outlet right there for that freezer, and then this one is going to be the only one that's a little bit harder to reach. It's going to be right behind it, and we have that final outlet right there. Now we're just going to run the wires between all of the outlets, and then we are going to put our light up on the top. This is what we chose for lights. We were just looking for a very basic single socket for like a single light bulb, and we just couldn't find it. So this was the closest thing we got. In this freezer room, because it's a lot smaller, we'll probably just put in one light bulb and not use both of them. But the rest of the spaces in this woodshed are a little bit bigger, and it'll be kind of nice to have light going off in both directions. So we'll probably put 2 light bulbs in all the other rooms. Another graceful moment.
All our wires are ran in the freezer room. I've got the boxes and wires done. Next, I'm going to move on into the sawmill area, and Lori's going to work on putting the outlets on these boxes. So in the solar kiln, we're going to be putting a light across the top. I have this light that I've had a while. It's just an LED utility light. It runs off of an outlet. I could probably hardwire it and put it to a switch, but it has the pull string, so I'm just going to put an outlet up on the ceiling. I have this wire I had already run and put a little service loop there so that I can put in an outlet right there, and then that's what I'll have that light plugged into. So I've moved on into the firewood area. I don't really have a good spot to put this light switch, And I'm gonna put an outlet with it because I just don't have good places to put these. I could try and put it by the door area, but these will kind of stick out weird or just be in the way if we're stacking wood on both sides. So I think my solution is I'm going to put it on the shelving here. So our shelving on the back side of the woodshed, I'm going to probably put it on the side of this. I think it'll be mostly out of the way then.
Oh, that's... I'd prefer not.
Put it this way.
You know what I mean, though? If you take that but turn it sideways and put it on the rafter.
Okay.
You think that would be okay?
I'd have to go up here to be able to nail it, but yeah, I could do that.
Do you not? I mean, what do you think about that placement?
Yeah, that should work. I could do that. What?
Daddy.
What?
Daddy.
What?
Daddy.
Rowan.
Well, Cody's up in the loft. He's putting on the last cover that we have to do. And next up is just getting that skid steer over here and digging a trench.
Now that we're all wired up in the building, I need to get our wires trenched to get to the house and the inverter so that we can power everything in the building without these extension cords running over the ground. Because in the winter, we'll be driving over it with the snow machines, and whatever gets kicked up above the snow then gets caught and it causes issues. So we're going to get these trenched in here. The ground is pretty frozen right now, so hopefully I can break through it and get this work done. This side of our solar wire is getting disconnected from the breaker box that's in the woodshed, because this is going to be getting replaced with a slightly longer one. We're just a little short, so then we can get our box mounted in there and then run it down below the ground. So this wire will get pulled out, and then the second wire we're going to disconnect up in the loft at the inverter and pull it back through, and then we'll coil it up over here while I do the dirt work, and then we'll run it through the pipe and back up into the building.
The only thing we have left to do are move some of these cutoffs. I think that Cody should be able to just scoop them up with the forks, and most of them should be able to move okay. That way, he's not so sure because they're not all like the full length, so I think he's thinking a lot of them might fall off. But we're gonna get all of these moved, and then once those are moved, everything should be out of the way that he can start working on this groundwork. That's okay. Ugh. That worked so well. Okay, hold on, let me get her. Yeah! Those are eventually going to be for our future garden beds, so a lot of these will have to get sorted through again because they're not going to be all really nice size planks for that. That's kind of just where we're storing them for the meantime until we finally get around to that project. This is how much of our ground is frozen right now. A few inches. Our trench is pretty much done and ready to go. So Cody got it right up to the house right here and just kind of trenched the straight line to right here is where the wires are going to pop up in the woodshed. And we did decide the ground is just a little bit too frozen to really scrape this well enough. You really have to dig down pretty deep, and we don't want to, there's just a small layer of clay on the top that we want to scrape off, and it's just not going to work. So we're going to pass on kind of going around the back side of the woodshed. It's going to have to sit for one more winter, one more spring. Honestly, probably like early spring, late summer, we can kind of just do that final scrape back here and get that fixed later. But no big deal for now. At least we got this trench dug before it got too frozen, because that did look to be a little bit challenging to get it started. Don't hit the house. Whew. Maybe you should just get that long shovel. It doesn't even look that frozen right there.
So I got in this pipe quite a while ago to do this project, and then at a later date I went and got these elbows to be able to run it up from the ground. But unfortunately I have an 1.25 inch pipe and an 1.5 inch elbows. I'm not going to be able to make a trip back to town, so we're going to have to make this work. So I didn't do real well planning out this conduit with the wrong size elbows and pipe. I also didn't get a piece to go on top to bring it up out of the ground more. I do have a bunch of extra PVC that we just keep under the edge here. And there's a bunch of like T's and everything, but we didn't have any junctions down there. So I cut a little piece of pipe and I used an elbow and I put a cap on it, so that's what I had. And I'm gonna put that on top of the bent elbow in the ground just to get that extended up out of the ground for me. Doesn't look super nice, but it'll function. And then also on this side, being it is possible to get rain and weather in through this side, I'm putting this over the top just so that no rain can get down in it. Okay, we've got our 2 solar panel wires ready to go. These 3 wires are for the generator, and then we have to get a standard 212 to be able to run for the power to the building.
We have 6 wires that need to get ran, technically. 1, 2, a group of 3, and then this one. Okay.
I'm getting caught on my spot I melted to make these work, so I put another piece of wire across here and taped it on so I'd have a little bit more of a nose to kind of jump over the spots that catch, hopefully. So we'll see if it actually goes in there. Oh.
Woo! It'll just be a little slow going, but we'll get it. You're definitely past this. I can hear it. You're past this one even.
Oh.
Okay, yeah, that's good. Well, I think we have enough extra length pulled over on this side right now. Cody is heading up into the loft inside, and he's gonna feed another wire down through the siding of our deck right here. When it pokes out the bottom, I'm going to loop it around our end. I'm gonna kind of loop that wire through here so we can hopefully just pull this whole clump of wires back up into the loft where they all need to go. Minus this yellow one, which is going to have to get brought back down again, fed all the way to the other side of the house. On that other side, we'll pop it up through the floor where we can connect it into a breaker in our breaker box inside. Tape this up as good as I can. All right. Okay, let's try it. We got stuck on this 2x4 or 2x2. Okay, now try. Be a lot easier now. All right, fixed. Wires are ran up through the pipe, up the wall. Cody's going to be connecting everything up there, and then we will have to go back over by the woodshed and get all of that stuff finalized and kind of connected by the door. It's another graceful moment of yours.
Yep.
So pretty much what Cody's doing right now is we have the yellow wire pulled out, and he's looping it up above these 4x6 beams in between the floor joists, but we have to angle it back into the third bay between these pier blocks, so we kind of have to diagonal it all the way across the house. So he's crawling under there working on that right now, and it is definitely a tight fit. And unfortunately, because these blocks are here, there's not enough space to crawl under them, so we have to crawl in to every single one individually to get it all the way across. That looks a lot more graceful. How'd you turn around in there? What? I don't understand how you turn around under there.
Well, my legs fit underneath the 4x6s.
Huh.
So.
Nicely done. The wires are all ran and trenched all the way across. We finished up on this side, but before we can do the wiring in the woodshed now, we need to get that grill out. It's kind of in our way. So Cody's gonna come through and just fill in this small section right here just so we can get the grill out and kind of finish working up that wiring. And we'll come back through and finish filling in the rest of this trench later. Cody changed his mind. He's just gonna fill it all in right now.
We have solar.
Actually, though, it is. I feel like I have done these plugs for these generators more than you have, because you've always been like doing something else, and then like while you're dealing with that, I have to run outside and like do the plug really quick.
And I'm like testing up top.
You're
make sure
yeah.
I get power. This one's white. This one's ground.
Okay. Okay, that's what I was guessing.
That way when you can't get in there.
Not with this thick of a wire because it's been melted so badly. Like I actually don't know if I can do it. I'm gonna have to bend some of them out of the way.
Want it back on? No? Okay. You keep hammering nails on here.
Back to work. You want dinner? Keep working.
That's silly.
It's so silly.
Wow. That was a hard one. 1, 2, 3. Good job. 3, 2, 1. Just because I went backwards doesn't mean you had to. Well, I finally got this outlet done, but I am losing my light. But I think we are all finished. I have the generator set in here. I'm going to add this pipe as a exhaust pipe, so it goes through the wall, and then we should be good to go. There's the exhaust pipe now coming out through the wall. I will have to take the back off my generator and put a hose clamp on there so this will stay on while it's running better. We now have power to this building.